moving on to the next slide here in cybersecurity and know what's going on. So just to paint another global picture here, and the main point I want to drive home here is that we're up against, when it comes to cyber criminals, we're up against professionals. It wasn't that long ago, well, let's say 10, 15 years ago, where we were still dealing with amateurs. A lot of people think of people with hoodies or teenagers and hacking into computers. Sure, that happens, but not the way that is portrayed often in movies and online. We're up against professional criminal syndicate organizations. The cybercrime has surpassed the drug trade as being the crime of choice globally. It is safer, it's more scalable, they can make a heck of a lot more money, and they can commit these crimes anywhere on Earth, and they can be somewhere in some remote island in the middle of the Pacific, and no one can get a hold of them, kind of thing. It is the point I want to drive home here is that if you're up against professionals, more organizations need to take a professional approach to cybersecurity. If you're an amateur and you're going up against a professional, you're going to lose 10 times out of 10. It's like bringing a spoon to a gunfight. Right? You're going to lose. So it's so important to understand that we need to, in order to truly combat cybercrime, we need to increase our professionalization in terms of how we as organizations deal with it. Just to dive into some more specific threats in which we're seeing. So the most common one right now is ransomware. So ransomware, or an extension of it, is called extortionware. That's where your IT systems, your data are held for ransom. It's like kidnapping of the 21st century kind of thing. And in order for you to regain access to those systems and or data, you need to pay a ransom. That's often in a virtual currency like Bitcoin, and it can range anywhere from a few $1,000s to hundreds of thousands, or in some cases millions of dollars. So it's something which is affecting especially the small and mid-sized business community globally, because again, most small and mid-sized organizations have been struggling to deal with cybersecurity or even identify that as a problem. And what we see is organizations get hit by ransomware, and many of them are unable to recover that data, so they end up paying the ransom. And what's even more startling from that is many of them don't make the systemic changes to address why they got hit by ransomware in the first place, and they end up paying the ransom again and again and again. It's sort of akin to with someone who has a very unhealthy lifestyle. They eat poorly, they don't exercise, they end up having a heart attack. Some people, when they survive that, will say, okay, I need to change my lifestyle. I barely survived. I need to make sure this doesn't happen again. But there's some people who, when they have a heart attack, will just say, oh, hey, you know what? I survived. I want to just keep going down the path of destruction. Who cares? I survived it once, and I can survive it again. We see that, unfortunately, far too often with when it comes to organizations surviving ransomware, or just relying on their insurance company and paying the ransom and moving on. So it's something which, again, goes back to that broken mindset, that false sense of security. If organizations and executives and board of directors were truly viewing this as a business risk, they would not be taking that tactic. And especially when we're looking at the banking world right now, cyber attacks they're affecting every banking channel. Whether it be mobile banking, whether it be online banking, whether it be ATMs, or any of the old mainstream stuff. Cyber crime and cyber attacks still go after the banking sector. It's still one of the most lucrative sectors to go after if you're a cyber criminal, right? So you're still in those crosshairs. That'll never go away, unfortunately. And when it comes to being impacted by cyber attacks, it's something which every organization now has at least suffered some sort of cyber attack. And again, statistics are hard to come by, but anywhere between 40 to 60% of organizations have suffered some sort of cyber attack. In my mind, I'd say that number is probably closer to 90%, but it's sort of a cost of doing business right now. Especially, like I said, as we go deeper and deeper into that digital economy.